It's time to have a look at the origin or background of multimodality, or academic details about multimodality. Two works, one by Kress and Van Leeuwen, named as Reading Images, which was produced in 1996, and another book, The Language of Displayed Art, by Toole, have been appreciated as one of the pioneers, as among the pioneer works which started a debate about multimodality and its use in some kind of discourse analysis. These are usually different books, provided us different insights into the works based on multimodality, but inherently these two books dealt multimodality from different perspectives. The books was greatly influenced by the work of Halliday's functional linguistics, or in other words, which emphasized on the social use of language. Halliday deviated or moved away from the traditional grammar and looked into the semantic uses of the language. And there was an emphasis that language should be understood as being shaped through its cultural, social, and historical perspective. So it's not only a set of words, rather it has a history and very clear social connections. And without understanding those social connections, it becomes very difficult to understand the language. Therefore, it becomes necessary to understand those functions which language performs in a society. So that is probably one of the reasons why Halliday moved away from rigid traditional grammars and looked into the semantic views of language. And he saw language as an overall system of various subsystems or layers of systems which build into a whole in form of a language. In other words, Halliday calls it a systematic networks, and these systematic networks were categorized by Halliday into various kinds of meta functions which a language performs, or meta functions. These meta functions are similar to what underlie semiosis. The kind of meta functions Halliday talks about includes ideational meta functions, which include the views about the world. When we say something about the world, that shows the ideational meta function of a language. Similarly, when we signal our relationship through language, this shows the meta function of interpersonal communication. Then when we marshal these into a structured whole, this shows the textual meta function. When different components, ideological or ideational and interpersonal, are booked into some kind of structural unity, that becomes a text, and we call this from a Hallidean perspective a textual meta function of a language. Reading images and the language of displayed art extended some valuable insights into the social interpretations of various texts and images accompanying those texts, and it focused on the meaning of various social or visual communication. Reading images not only drew upon Halliday's functional grammar or functional aspects of language, rather it worked in an interdisciplinary manner, as it also relied heavily on semiotics, the traditional semiotic knowledge, as well as on visual psychology. Reading images also focuses on the use of semiotic resources in some and developing some kind of situated meanings out of them, which involves unearthing the ideologies or ideological work or power relations which are embedded in a certain text. And it was shown that signs are never fixed, rather they keep on changing, and therefore it is important to see them in a certain context so that we could decipher their important and situational meanings. The language of display art, though it focuses on various kinds of works of art in fine arts or in other forms of writing, in other forms of art, and it actually helped us know how traditional system of functional linguistics or functional systemic linguistics can be used to understand, interpret, and decode the work of art. Such works produce systems, networks of the found patterns to show how different modes fulfill Halliday's communicative meta functions. And then we have other studies in this regard also, where, for example, one by O'Halloran, which shows that mathematics, the knowledge of mathematics or mathematical science, can be used to develop, to build, as well as interpret various texts, and how the mathematical visual images can be used to show the meaning and symbolism, and this can also help us interpret various texts, not only contemporary texts but historical texts also.